Hey guys, good morning. Welcome back to our channel, The Eaton Squad. My name is Eddie. So for today's video is a new added protocol from the IATF for these particular travelers to the Philippines. Details coming right up. So Secretary Carlo Nograles has made an announcement earlier with regards to the Philippine government allowing the entry of returning Filipinos who recovered from COVID-19 despite testing positive on the mandatory RT-PCR test 48 hours prior to departure. Yes, you heard it right. For example, you are a Filipino from the US, you had COVID, but you have underwent quarantine, you have underwent isolation, you had underwent treatment, and your physician has given you a medical certificate saying that you are free from COVID or that you have recovered from COVID, and then you decided that you are flying back to the Philippines. The problem is you tested positive again on your RT-PCR test. That one is actually now allowed by the IATF. This is the new resolution that they just posted today. But there are requirements to this new protocol. So I will be showing you guys a clip from Secretary Carlo Nograles from his press briefing today regarding this new IATF resolution 158. Filipinos who have recently recovered from COVID-19 but still test positive in required pre-departure COVID-19 test may be allowed entry into the country provided they meet certain conditions, Malacanang said Friday. Cabinet Secretary Carlo Nograles said this was approved by the government's Interagency Task Force, which is the IATF. Passengers must provide the following in lieu of the required negative pre-departure RT-PCR test. One is positive RT-PCR test taken within 48 hours prior to the date or time of departure from the country or port of origin. Number two, medical certificate issued by a licensed physician stating that the traveler has completed the mandatory isolation period, is no longer infectious, and has been allowed free movement or travel. Number three, positive RT-PCR test taken not later than 10 days, but not later than 30 days prior to date or time of departure from country or port of origin. So I wanted to clarify things with regards to this new protocol of the IATF to those who fully recovered from COVID-19 but still tested positive for the required pre-departure RT-PCR test. If you had COVID, like I said, if you had COVID and you have recovered from it, that you went through isolation, treatment, and stuff, you should get a medical certificate from your physician, or you should get a document stating that you are not infectious anymore, you have free movement, or you're allowed to travel because you have recovered from COVID. As I know, or as medical experts says, it doesn't get removed from your system if you had COVID. It stays there. I am not sure for how long, and this is the reason why you still test positive even if you have went through the isolation and treatment already. That is one thing. And this is what I wanted to clear for everybody, because some might say, hey, I went to do my swab test for the 48-hour RT-PCR test. I tested positive. Can I still be allowed to enter the Philippines? The answer to that is no. This is only for those who recently recovered from COVID-19, meaning they get infected with COVID-19, and I will say again that they have isolated, they have quarantined, they have went through or undergone treatment for COVID-19 and got a medical certificate from their physician that they are fully recovered from COVID-19 and they are not infectious anymore, and they have been allowed for free movement or travel. So there's a huge difference on that. So I just wanted to clarify that out for everybody. Upon arrival, they will be required to undergo facility-based quarantine applicable to them based on the classification of the country or jurisdiction of origin and their vaccination status. If passengers are fully vaccinated and coming from the green list territories, they will need to follow the quarantine period prescribed for fully vaccinated passengers from the yellow list. So if you're one of those who just recently recovered from COVID-19, coming from the green list, unfortunately, you will have to undergo quarantine based on the yellow list quarantine protocol. Unlike for those fully vaccinated who go to the Philippines from the green list, they go straight home. This is not the case for those Filipinos who's traveling and who just recently recovered from COVID-19 and still tested positive on the pre-departure mandatory 48 hours RT-PCR test. Fully vaccinated travelers from yellow areas need to undergo facility-based quarantine and get tested on the 5th day. If you are negative for COVID-19, they can be released for completion of home quarantine up to the 7th day. Some individuals who recover from COVID-19 may continue testing positive despite no longer being infectious. This is probably why the Philippine government has opened up for this category. Unfortunately, they just said Filipinos. They have not mentioned anything about foreign nationals. And hopefully, this will change, and hopefully they will put an addition to the category on this to those who have recently recovered from COVID-19 but still tested positive for the mandatory RT-PCR test for 48 hours. So this is a good change actually, and you can really see the Philippines is slowly easing up on their travel restrictions because they don't have a problem accepting positive travelers already of COVID-19, but only to those who have fully recovered from it. They just tested positive because, like it says, it stays longer in your system and you will still test positive even if you have undergone the proper treatment, the proper isolation, and the proper quarantine for it. So, like I said, the Philippine government okays. The Philippine government has already given the green light on this. And for now, this applies for returning overseas Filipinos to the Philippines. And now, let us all listen to the press briefing of Secretary Carlo Nograles. This is in Tagalog. I have explained this video already in English. So, to those of our kababayan who prefer more in Tagalog, but it will have visuals in English as well, so you guys can follow. So, let's watch.
Samantala, pinapayagan na din ng IATF ang pagpasok sa Pilipinas ng international arriving Filipino passengers na gumaling sa COVID-19 pero nagpo-positibo pa rin sa kanilang required pre-departure RT-PCR test. Kailangan lamang nilang magpresenta ng mga sumusunod. Again, ito yung gumaling na COVID-19 na Filipino, internationally arriving Filipino passengers. Una, yung positive RT-PCR test taken within 48 hours prior to the date or time of departure from country or port of origin. Pangalawa, yung medical certificate issued by a licensed physician kung saan nakasaad na nakumpleto na ng pasahero ang mandatory isolation period at nang hindi na siya nakakahawa at pinapayagan na siya ng kanyang free movement maging ang kanyang pagbiyahe. Pangatlo, yung positive RT-PCR test taken not earlier than 10 days but not later than 30 days prior to the date and time of departure from country or port of origin. Pagdating po ng Pilipinas, kailangan nilang sumailalim sa facility-based quarantine applicable to them based on the classification of the country, territory, or jurisdiction of origin at ng kanilang vaccination status. Kung fully vaccinated at galing sa green list countries, territories, or jurisdictions, kailangan nila mag-facility-based quarantine prescribed for yellow list countries, territories, or jurisdictions for fully vaccinated arriving passengers.
So that is the latest from the IATF dated January 21st of 2022 in allowing this particular category, this specific permitted travelers to the Philippines who are still testing positive but have just recently recovered from COVID-19. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, concerns, or inquiries with regards to this video or in any of our travel related videos, please comment it down below and I will get back to you guys as soon as I can. Or you can direct message me in our Facebook page or Instagram, same handle, The Eaton Squad. Again, thank you guys so much for your continued support and trust to our channel. I hope to see you guys on our next travel update. Stay safe, stay healthy, and God bless everyone. Bye.